Well, hello, Kingston. Welcome back to another Napoleonic Total War 3 battle. This is going to be a amazing, close, deadlocked fight. I can promise you that, and the reason I can promise you that is because I have played in this one, guys, and it was insanely close. And I am being totally serious when I say this. I was so sure that it was lost and then won and then lost and then won. I had no idea where this battle was going. It was during a live stream. For those who've not seen my live stream, then you're in for a special treat. If you have seen my live stream, you know what this battle is, and I guarantee you still are going to want to watch this because I'm going to get way more cinematic shots of this than, you know, the stream was. For those who do not know, I do stream well, it's pretty disorganized with our schedule, so it's just whenever. So we already took an LOC, but let's go over these armies. So these are historical cores. Obviously, you can see tons of Austria here. So we have me playing as, I'm not going to be able to say his name. Not there. Where is it? There it is. Hohenzollern. I don't know. Friedrich. He's a 8-pointer. I had the lowest points on the battlefield. Next to me is Liechtenstein, bringing a massive. He is a Grenadier Corps, although he can bring some heavies along with that. But yeah, he has a lot of Grenadiers. Very crucial. He has a lot of Crossiers. Me, I only brought 2 Hussars and then some line infantry. Half of my army is some pretty bad quality lines, mixed in with some decent, and of course I brought a 5-gun 5-pounder and a 5-gun 10-pounder. We're definitely going to need to depend on our artillery on this map. France is quite powerful force to be reckoned with. Now, of course, we already have over here D'Este as another 8-pointer. So, you know, me and there's 2 8-pointers, me and this other 8-pointer, Liechtenstein being 11-pointer. And then we have, some people say it's broken, some people say it's unbeatable. We will see today if it is or not. 10-point Hiller, which is, man, look at these nice little assault column, or not assault column, just look at this formation. Look at this little boxy looking, just ready to go and end the French's day if possible. You know, we can only hope today will be that day. Now, I do not remember the French points, to be honest, so I apologize. This map, also, I will put it in the, well, actually, I think we know this map. It's like Zanem. I'm probably butchering that. It's a name or name, I don't know. One of those two. That's the map's name. It's a historical map. And yeah, it's going to be a close one, guys. So get yourself comfortable. Get yourself ready for some twists and turns, for some heartbreak, some tears shed, and maybe some cheering, depending on which side you're going for here. You can put in the comments who you think is going to win this one. Because you're going to probably have to wait till the very end before you're for sure knowing who's going to win. Yeah, we put up quite the fight, I will tell you that. Now, without giving any spoilers, but yeah, France is already pushing up with some skirmishers here, getting the first little cheeky volley off. Firing at D'Este as he's pushing up around this LOC. We do have some cav from D'Este also pushing over here, but some skirms may try to meet them by the river. Look at the hills they get, guys. The terrain they get is amazing compared to what we have. I mean, the only high terrain we have is way over here. We have a nice little hill. But that's it. They get, if you look... Oh, this is Cav doing, you know? Cav is getting repulsed, running away, only losing a couple models. But look at this, guys. Look at the high ground that France is claiming already. We only have a portion of, like, the plateau, but they have all this high ground. You can see the forest is starting to march down into the valley. We have a slight gradual slope here, but the LOC is kind of next to the high ground that they have. We have a nice little slope here, but nothing in comparison to that. Beautiful looking, actually. We did take an LOC. I'm marching my troops over to kind of take over this right side. Liechtenstein is going to be going into the center. Hiller left side. D'Este taking the LOC area. Now the French are advancing in mass here in the front, pushing up their artillery, pushing up lines, and Crossiers making their appearance as well as skirmishers are pushing up. So he's pushed up very chunky units of skirms. My goodness. Too bad Liechtenstein didn't have Grens here. It's just a line infantry unit. But yeah, look, France pushing up their artillery. We do have D'Este pushing up their artillery. I hope I'm saying that name right, because otherwise I'm going to be saying it a lot. And if it's terrible, if it's the wrong name, I'm going to feel bad. But 5-pounders, very nice, very vicious, fast firing. The skirmishers and line infantry getting some volleys already here. Skirmishers pushing up on both sides. We do have the French advancing over here down into this valley in between. We do have some slightly gentle slopes for high ground. We are going to put our guns up on this other high ground here. We have a little bit, so we're going to utilize every bit of high ground we have. But my goodness, the French advancing quite viciously on this side. The artillery set up. Ooh, getting some artillery barrages already smacking into the French lines. Looks like France is pushing into the forest here. Yeah, they're pushing a lot of troops into the forest, trying to get a flank. Hitler is using this road to quickly push up and hopefully start meeting them in the forest, as this is going to be where the first contact, obviously getting very close on both sides. And I think we have our first attack. Some grenadiers gonna charge this LOC. Look at these guys. Yep, they're gonna go into this LOC and attack it. I think they can definitely do a little better than this grenadier unit, or not even a grenadier, but a line infantry unit. And the fight rages. And very anticlimactic. But yeah, no, the French definitely are pushing up skirmishers, putting up a nice screen. Our artillery, we do have a 5-pounder set up over here, 3 guns, as well as some grenadiers in this right LSC, trying to anchor, basically anchor things from this small town, I guess more than this, but trying to anchor ourselves along this way, along this road, even like more along this area, you know, just in case. Now we do have Hitler pushing into the forest here. France, oh, they did take it, so that is going to be a rough one. Now Austria probably is going to fall back from this LOC, as it has been taken, and that's going to become a problem. We have my skirmishers are now firing here. They are definitely outnumbered. Cavalry, I have 1 hussar here with this artillery piece, and France has way more cav on this side. That was the one problem. I don't think we had a heavy cav advantage here. Or I just, like, I don't mean by heavy cav across here. I just mean like cav in general. We did not have as many cav as they did. Now I'm pulling back a little bit. As you can see, my line's reforming as France is advancing in force here. Some cavalry action, maybe trying to go for the guns. Yeah, so Desta has fallen back. We do have Hitler now engaging in the tree line here, pushing into the trees. Let's see if they can actually make a dent on the French. You can see they're actually pushing troops behind their front line, trying to go for a, basically, who can outflank the other. I guess we will find out relatively quickly here. Ooh, some nice volleys though. France getting hit hard. The fire rate of fire is quite fast, quite vicious. And yep, Austria, man, look at all these troops pushing over here. Ooh. Nice returning volleys though, beautifully done. France still advancing up here. Artillery, I think, is finally about to get in position. We can start plastering the French lines. Oh, looks like some grenadiers attacking this LOC. We will see how well that goes. Not too sure how that's going to go. I didn't really honestly know that was even happening. Artillery, though, firing. We have some light infantry for France. Cavalry inching closer. They really want that 5-pounder. We have actually a lot of cav on this side defending it, but yeah, look at this. France is going to definitely take some losses pushing across this field. Still looks very epic. Yeah, my 5-pounders and 10-pounders. You got to get the right angle though, guys. It's a nice elevated hill, but I'm still hitting the ground a lot, which is something you have to always look out for. Ooh, nice shots, causing the French men to go airborne. And oh, here we go, the cav going for this artillery piece. Unfortunately, my cav scared them off. Oh, they have more cav now pushing up. They got some elites, some elite heavies. All right, let's check on Hitler's LOC. Also, we took this one back, I believe. Let's see how Hitler is engaging here, pushing for masses of infantry onto the left side. France doesn't look to be able to push up enough reserves quickly enough. All you can see their units moving behind their front line. But they are actually, let's get down here because the smoke is going to be quite atrocious. Trying to see what's happening here. Yeah, you can see they are falling back. as Austria definitely has more troops to push on the side. Oh, we have some cavalry, but that is a squareable, so these hussars definitely gonna smack into a square. And well, maybe they didn't. Let's see over here. Oh yeah, they did charge the guns, unfortunately. Lost my cav, and we lost the guns. I mean, after all, it was heavies. You know, what you gonna do against heavies? But now they are gonna keep pursuing this. Don't have a square. This is where things are starting to go a little nasty. Although at the same time, ooh, nice charge with the French, with the Austrian hussars going for some skirmishers trying to break down this French line. They should have charged in this direction. But you can see now I'm charging my hussars in, breaking the French cav, but here come heavies going in. I should have pulled them back. Instead, I kept pursuing, but we start pushing back our line as they are really pressuring us quite viciously on this side. Skirmishers, tons of line infantry. It's turning into a real-life assault, a real-life crisis here, guys. This is 2 French armies against me on my own on this right flank. Artillery isn't going to be able to help as much as I would probably like. But now we are falling back even more. Now, let's check and see how Hiller is doing. The center, obviously, still a massive fight as D'Este is once again getting routed from this LOC. Has exchanged hands a couple times already. Hiller has pushed the French significantly back and actually marching on top of the French dead. Wow. Talk about the losses inflicted on this French line. And yeah, the French are retreating out of the forest as Austria is just turning this into a shooting gallery. Now we have definitely pulled back. We have a concerning amount of infantry close to these guns who are not that well defended. This artillery should be firing right here, honestly. Not sure what I was doing there. French army obviously has moved quite rapidly, but now the volleys are being exchanged once more. As volleys exchanged, losses inflicted. Hopefully I can make my stand here because I am holding this right flank, guys. But it's very obvious there's 2 French armies here. 2 generals. Skirmishers pushing up to hit my 10-pounders. Not a good sight to have. France seems to have totally fallen out of this forest here, falling back. And now Hiller is actually falling back as well, relocating his army. Being honest here, we definitely need reinforcements. It looks like we are losing a little bit here with all this pressure. No troops breaking yet. Winning slightly this volley fire. All these skirms are going to be quite difficult here. So there's quite a lot of them. Oh, look at the volleys. Look at those volleys. Artillery, I'm firing canister. That's right, I fired canister at these skirmishers and actually breaking one of them. If they want to get close enough, you know, I'm going to deal with it. France is pushing into the town, which means Liechtenstein is pushing some Grens of their own into the town. Looks like they have their light infantry here in the LOC, or in the town itself. You know, so we got to hold this side, guys. We have to hold it. Fought a lot of line infantry still. Grenadiers. Yeah, they have a lot of Grens up in the front line. That's not a good sign. Artillery, though, is starting to tear them apart, so we're doing an excellent job. As you can see here, throwing them down. Hiller has relocated a little bit and actually shifting forces over here to the center, and it looks like we may have a general attack. Right side definitely not has as much of an attack as defense, so, you know, you need to attack somewhere. And if most of the French are allocated somewhere else, then, you know, you gotta... Oh, also, there was 3 French armies and 1 Russian army. Of course, these are the corps. I think they're 1809 corps, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, these guys are losing against these Grens. They have some good rate of fire. Nice. If we can keep them in a volley fire, this would be perfect. Oh, we have some general cav movement. Going for some skirmishers. Nicely done. Starting to chop them up to size. Ooh, that one poor guy goes airborne, and then they even attack the next set of skirmishers, breaking them so that my artillery is free of, you know, getting shot at. Very wise thing. We have the French trying to hold against Hiller, one of the beefiest corps you will see. And they're probably going to start falling back. Skirmishers probably going to fall back too. Yep. Definitely don't want to take that fight. We have Dieste. Looks potentially to be sending some troops over here as Russia is pushing through the town. Still no general movement anywhere else. The cav got away. The skirmishers are dead. France seems to be making some general movement in this town. They have some reserves pushing up, line infantry pushing up. My artillery is still firing here, trying to just force back the French lines, guys. That's all we're doing here. We're trying to buy time while Hiller makes an advance on the French line, which they don't have a ton on this side, it looks like. Russia's kind of pushing in the center, and we have a hard push on the left. I am pushing up here a little bit. Maybe shouldn't have. I kind of closed the gap a little bit. You know, we'll see what happens with that, but in hindsight, maybe just be defensive. You know, I got aggressive, and that's a mistake I make with coalition a lot, is I try treating them like France and getting too aggressive. You sometimes have to be a little defensive. Ooh, these poor skirms are getting just blasted. I think they're going to try to go for the cannons. And I guess we'll see if they... yeah, they're going to break. France is getting aggressive here, though, guys. Look at this. They're pushing up through the town. Like I said, we do have the LSC. We have some Grens set up. We have some Cuirassiers here. Some Cavs running them down. Hiller still pushing. We do have that French reserve. Russia has set up. Gonna start giving the Austrians a what for. But now France seems to be taking an attack here. And we have cavalry charging. I shouldn't have moved my troops. I should have let them stand there, because I could have volleyed France in the face. But instead, I do push up my squares. Still got a good volley off. And still out of square, but oof, the impact there. Another square here. But, you know, just the squares get crunched. Like this square formed here, but it got crunched so fast. And we're in trouble now, guys. Another charge here. And France is going in for the melee. A bad thing to happen as Austria is Bransville closed in with that melee. And you can see it is starting to happen. Grenadiers crashing in. Light infantry even attacking. It's a full-on assault, guys. Allies rushing up. I get my general up here trying to inspire my troops, but you can see they are starting to waver and not looking too hot. We did break some of their heavy cav, thankfully. Probably that square, but man, they are really pushing hard here. So we have a lot of French troops collapsing in on this Austrian line. We have four lines of infantry hitting in. I only had 3 to buffer. Now Crosshair charging in, but my troops are already broken, so you could say it was a back charge, but the troops were broken. We need to get some impact on this French line. So Crosshair charging in. Look at this mess, though. Look at the mess. France charging full on in and sending cavalry. We have more Crosshairs. I'm pulling out whatever lines I have left. We're trying to get some artillery fire on this side. All this heavy cav it needs to get in this fight. Over here, another huge charge as well. Russia charging in against Hiller, trying to attack, countercharge him. Infantry and cavalry Cuirassiers charging in, but my goodness, Austria seems to be footing this fight much better as Russia, I mean, they committed a massive amount of troops here, and they seem to be breaking this side, but the reserves are pushing forward here. Over on this side, the Crosshair's falling back, sacrificing one. I have a troop here trying to fire in the on the flank, trying to break some of the French troops. Help out these Grenadiers, trying to force them back, guys. Our whole flank has been obliterated. Quite literally obliterated. We are trying to fall back. I have 2 line infantry left. And just my artillery. So at this point, the operation is now a tactical retreat, is what we are talking about here. France really trying to pressure Hitler here. It's not looking good for the coalition whatsoever as Russia is in melee. Cuirassiers charging forward. More Russian dragoons even collapsing in against the Austrian line. At the same time, Hitler is pushing here on this left side. You can see they actually starting to break a little bit of the French, and things are starting to look a little better just because Austria has so many troops on the battlefield, and France does not have enough to be able to really capitalize on this charge. It was all over here. Now, my 5 pounders are mobilizing up, and I believe my 10 pounders, 5 pounders and 10 pounders try to get themselves out of there. I have 2 lines, guys. I have my general over here. I'm hoping maybe some of my troops will come back if I keep my general nearby, but I'm pushing my troops back. France, for some reason, didn't push. Now, maybe they were scared of the, maybe their troops are tired. Maybe they were scared of heavy cav, which we do still have. And we have some hussars as well. So I wasn't sure what their plan was, but my 10 pounders got to get out of there. Russia is pressuring this front, and Hitler seems to actually be winning this side, which is, you know, a victory, sort of. Not as much a victory with this huge mass rout. I'm surprised France didn't try running these troops down to make sure they didn't come back. Look at this massive. This is my whole army. My entire army, guys, just in the blink of about a minute. In a minute, they were all gone. Very sad. Oh, they're just gonna get volleyed, these poor guys. They didn't deserve this. But yeah, now I'm starting a tactical retreat here. Getting my 10 pounders back. I have infantry that can form squares with other lines. Russia is not pushing as aggressively as they could because Hitler is actually putting pressure on their flank and attacking them. And this actually, I think, is what saved us, guys. Hitler's attack on France caused this other French army. They had 2 options at this point: reinforce this side or keep attacking over here. Right now, they seem to be attacking here, but Russia is in trouble of breaking, as well as France in trouble. France is still fighting a retreating battle. They do have artillery set up in a beautiful position, but in the background you can just see, and my lines are trying to hold back, and my artillery is trying to get themselves out of there. Russia's actually pushing over here to put pressure on Hitler. You do see Deste and Liechtenstein pushing across this river here. My goodness, Austria. Oh, are they going to get a fire? Are they going to shoot a volley? Oh, they are. That hurt. They got 1 shot off, but not enough. Hitler's pushing forward here. Look at this. They're having a whole line just out shooting. Potentially, this whole Austrian or French line is just getting obliterated by Hitler. Austria even attacking here. My goodness, Russia is having to divert instead of being able to trap us by this road. They could have pushed up and bottlenecked us, but they had to counterattack Hitler. And they are pushing up on this side. But you can see already, guys, the Hitler diversion has worked. France is diverting a lot of troops over to help against Austria. This is going to save us a little bit here, as now my artillery is getting across this river quite quickly. And we may actually have a moment that will save us. Yeah, it was a miracle. We got our step across the river. I did not think that was going to work. Hitler is still very aggressively pushing. Russia and France very much in bad shape here. They got just... Hitler had such massive units. You can see still 150 men, 140 almost. Very well done. Very well done. Looks like Russia is still pressuring, though, and Hitler has taken some losses. We have now garrisoned across this river, guys. We do have some cavalry charging some skirms. Nice, beautiful charge. We gotta break some skirmishers if we're gonna, you know, take a win here. Skirmishers gonna get away as these heavies are not gonna be able to chase them down. Ooh, they killed 1. Yeah, they're not gonna catch them. And then I stand back here with some of my lines, start volleying some skirms, hoping to break them. But guys, look, my units start coming back. The general nearby actually sent him some help. I have another one and another one and another one. Like, I have so many troops that start coming back. I am so happy. Like, half my army came back. It's a huge win for me. The rest didn't, unfortunately, but a lot of them did, and that is going to help secure this side. And France is actually falling back. Artillery was scrambling, ready to set up. Hiller is falling back because we still have quite a lot. I think here's where we're like, okay, we had an initial loss. Nice battery by Destin here. So we had a loss on this right side, quite significant loss. You can see by the casualties here, we lost big. I mean, France got some of their best cavalry killed, I'd say. Some of their heavies got destroyed. And there's a grenadier still over here. And Liechtenstein still holds this small town, and France has actually fallen back from it. But France is now consolidating here, and where are they going to attack next, guys? They still have an open field here, which means attacking here probably isn't a good idea. They have artillery set up on this hill range. They did lose some of their artillery, but they still have some of it. You can see, though, we are consolidating, guys. I'm just resting these men up. They're exhausted from running, so they just need to wait. So I'm just literally leaving them standing here so that they can... Why are you guys running? Anyway, yeah, so we've set up. My artillery's setting up. We're trying to figure out where we can make our stand, because it's very obvious France probably is going to attack us again. We just don't know where. But they are consolidating. We're consolidating. Phase 1, I guess you could call it, is done. Yeah. So it is still up in the air who's going to win this one. Hiller made a very successful push, though, as well. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch both charges at the same time. Would love to have seen that other charge that France had. Russia's resting up. They took some heavy losses against Hitler, but they were trying to save their ally from totally getting wiped. And they went in, guys, and the LOC got leveled. So no one has that, which is actually helpful for us, because if France had this, they'd be able to shoot in the side. Now it's not happening anymore. I'm actually going to fast forward a little bit because we just did a little bit of reorganizing here. Did a little scouting as well. Their artillery is actually pushing up, which means we need to start firing at it, trying to knock it while it's trying to limber, or it's trying to unlimber. I'm just going to fall back a little bit. We have an artillery advantage. They do not at this point in time. My 5-pounders are pushing up here. My 10-pounders will as well. Here's my 10-pounders. We didn't want to force them into, like, push our troops into a V, so, you know, that's just going to be a weak point. But my 5-pounders are pushing over to the left side here because we thought that France was definitely going to counterattack, and I do believe they are. Look at that line advancing across an already blood-soaked plain. My artillery just needs to get set up as quickly as possible. Hitler's fallen back so he doesn't lose his troops. He has the largest army at this point in time, as Desta has taken some heavy losses. Liechtenstein has taken, I believe, some heavy losses as well. Liechtenstein has 2 Grens here. He has a couple more here. So 4 in this town. And he has 6, I believe. And I have, well, I have 2, you know, what is this, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 troops, which is about half my line infantry army. But here we go. My 5-pounders, guys, getting ready to set up as the French advance and then fall back because they don't want to hit that artillery. Or maybe not. Now we do have the French advancing once more here. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of light cav to really scout this, so we don't really know where they're pushing. And, well, if they push here, there's not a lot. There's my army, which is pretty fresh now, thankfully, able to rest them up. We have Liechtenstein here as well. We have Desta's line pushing up here. But Russia is pushing up to the attack, has light infantry, or just line infantry actually, just pushing forward. The French have troops pushed up a long line. Our artillery is firing. I think actually we're trying to snipe the French guns. But we're in a very defensive posture at this point. We do have Hiller in the back still. which is okay. I'm gonna hold the right side or left side maybe. I don't know what. I can't remember what our plans were. Like I said, guys, if you really want to see this battle again, it's my most recent live stream. You can hear all the plans, all what we were thinking out loud, because it was pretty interesting and very stressful at some points. We do have some Russian guns that are set up. Unfortunately, didn't get them before they limbered up. But now we're just firing artillery, trying to snipe these guns as they're pushing up. Can we do it? We have some nice, like, ground right here. They set the artillery up full of fire. Ooh, still didn't hit the artillery. I don't know how we were missing this artillery piece. But now with the Russian guns set up, I mean, these poor French are just getting shredded up by Artie. Look at this. They can't push this side, guys. That is a nice thing. All these guns set up. I have 10 guns here. Or maybe, no, 8 guns. I apologize. 8 guns, not 10. I have 8 guns here, plus, well, some more guns. Although Russia is pushing the guns forward, or pushing onto the guns here. Are they going to make it? Can these guns fire in time? Oh, man, they're not going to make it. Oh, the canister, though. The canister. Ooh, they break one. Can Russia save, or can Russia save this and get the other guns? Oh, we have some cavalry, though, pushing up. Austria is not ready for this. Oh, man. So they are starting to assault all of a sudden out of nowhere, guys. Look at this huge push going for our pieces and the right side. So we're trying to scramble and set up a defense. I don't have a lot. We have the LOC at least that can help a little bit. These guns still firing. This actually is the only thing that's really saving us from getting viciously attacked here, because France can't push too hard unless these guns are gone. Although more Russians are now pushing forward, this may be it, as there's no more Austrians to take on this artillery, like to defend this artillery piece. In a coordinated cavalry and infantry assault, maybe toast. We do have some cuirassiers, though, countercharging, and they are going to easily, hopefully, break this French cav in Russian line, hopefully without having losses of their own. Now you can see we are set up. I'm pulling my troops back. I want them to push across the river. We don't want to try to outshoot them here. Now my artillery is the only thing maybe holding back this French line, and I am trying to counter battery them just because I don't have a lot of infantry to fire at. Although actually I was firing at these lines in this cav. But here we go. Is Austria countercharging down this ravine into the French lines? Beautiful charge. Oh my gosh, what a charge. Now they just need a general to inspire this troop to feats of bravery to continue the assault, force France back, or pull their troops back, which I think he's going to do. Hopefully they are waver. Oh, they broke. Hopefully they come back. That's a pretty massive unit across the air, but you can see already France was scared by that counter charge. You know, we still can sting. We still have a vicious sting left. Austria is not dead yet. You may conquer us in the end, but we're gonna take you down with us. That was kind of mentality I felt like we had. And oh, here we go. Hiller's pushing forward, guys. Here it's the grand assault. Look at this attack. We are starting to mount, or defense, I guess. Technically, it's not an attack, it's defense. France has put all their troops on this side. Look at this, though. Look at Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein's back here with 4 units of grenadiers. He should actually push them more in this direction, I feel like. But here we go. France is falling back. Hitler has actually pushed out some troops and actually seems to be winning as France is trying to push the troops right back up, their light infantry back up to, you know, reply to this vicious fire. Over on this side, France is just kind of, I don't think they can't push this side, guys. That much is obvious. They can't push it. As soon as they pop any sizable infantry up, it's over. The artillery, 8 guns, is going to focus them down. So they have to play in the area where they have lower visual, what's the word? Where they have lower ground. The artillery can't hit them when they're lower down. Here we go. Look at this, Liechtenstein pushing up troops. France probably sees this and is like, ah, snap. There's Austrians behind us. Cuirassiers in front of us. Liechtenstein is pushing troops forward. Oh my goodness, Hitler is counterattacking, marching across this river. Here we go, though. We have some cavalry charging forward. Is Liechtenstein going to get a cav charge and bayonet charge in? Nice on the cav charge, going in against a lot of French lines. Oh my goodness. And the Grenadiers. Holy cow, that was a mass rout. And just to let you guys know, this is a genuine reaction. I did not see how any of this was going. I was concentrating on my side where my troops are now pushing over. I'm holding the left side while Hitler is counterattacking with France. And Liechtenstein is going to start pushing forward. France is going to try to make a tactical retreat as true line of retreat to maybe try to combat Liechtenstein's attack. Hitler is pouring over the hill here as France falls back here. The one problem is these are L3 at the most, and these could easily be L4s for France. Now maybe some of them are L3s, but Liechtenstein does have G3 L3. Okay, so not that fast of troops, but the counterattack has begun, and I basically have the job of holding the left side. You know, kind of deserve it after I lost my army. You know, I'm holding the left side. Honestly, I couldn't do much. My morale was the greatest. Oh, another cav charge, running down more French troops. And France has nothing to combat this, guys. Their cavalry is not really here. Now, they do have artillery set up. This is a beautiful position. And you see France is actually falling back with Russia here as Hitler is attacking, pushing troops over, trying to go for maybe a Oh, we do have a counter charge. Beautifully done. Actually, I gotta check some. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta make sure that. Yeah, I do have the audio. But here we go. Hitler is defending this side as France is trying to counterattack here. Getting a beautiful flanking charge, forcing France to fall back. Oh, the cuirassiers constantly charging, slicing up more and more French infantry. And I don't think France has squares. I think actually Austria has more squares than France for once, which is kind of weird. But now I think the saving that heavy cav is starting to pay off a little bit here. Look at this counter charge, though. France is squaring up here, guys. And they're going to get some nasty return volleys. This crosshair is as good as dead. But here we go. France making their stand. Oh, beautiful position on the hill. Artillery set up. Austria needs to, we need to like push up underneath this hill so they can't shoot at us anymore. Over this side, you can see artillery just destroying this line. And this is where I can start maybe putting a little pressure besides just artillery. I'm trying to put all the pressure I can, make them have to divert forces here. Here we go, though. Hitler and Liechtenstein prepping for a melee. The insanity of Austria going in for melee shows how desperate the situation is. No, I'm just kidding. It's Grandis. You have to charge. You have to. France is putting up quite the fight, though, guys. Ooh, even counter-charging down the hill. But Austria's now turn and shoot them. Oh, a turn volley, though. Austria's going in with the cuirassiers counter-charging. Constantly putting pressure. This heavy cav, I think, is the only thing that's keeping us alive here. Keeping us in this fight and helping us counter-charge. Oh, my gosh. Look at the mass wavering that is happening as now Liechtenstein, Hitler sending in all of their troops that they can on this side. France is actually going to probably try to get some volleys off. Fire, fire, fire. Oh, they didn't get a fire. That's unfortunate. That is, oh, this fight is going to get fire, and these poor Grens are going to get the whole brunt of this charge here, and France is actually counter. If only they had heavy cav, it would be over for us. I don't think they can bring enough. We outnumbered them, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm going to advance to just start putting pressure on this side, guys, because they are diverting everything over on this side and throwing us back here. They still have most of the high ground here. And here we go. Oh, it looks like we may have some cavalry charging the artillery. Beautifully done. Now he may lose that cav, but that Russian gun is definitely gonna die. Now I can start pushing my troops forward here. My artillery on both sides pushing forward. More cavalry. We have some more crosshair, some D'Este, which may actually prove quite useful as now we are starting to swing around here. Battle's starting to swing back in our favor quite massively as we have such a massive Hiller Corps left. And I think France, unfortunately, they had quite a significant army here. They just had no cav to defend it. And they didn't have any squares to form against that heavy cav. And just like that, they lost half their army, unfortunately. And that was the only thing that saved us. I mean, I think Hitler maybe could have still taken that attack because we were able to counterattack, and they didn't have a lot of troops to really support. But if they had more cav, it could have been a totally different story. Now France is reforming. I don't know how many troops they have left, but their last defense using the high ground. Some of the best high ground of the game, but do they have enough troops to garrison the entirety of it? That is the question. Artillery firing, unfortunately, just not a good angle anymore. And if we look here, it is getting pretty desperate here for the French, as they are just pretty heavily outnumbered now with Hiller's Corps pushing forward. Still a very awesome game. Oh man, I got obliterated at the very beginning, and that was rough to watch. That was a well-coordinated attack by France in the very beginning. I mean, smacking in. I don't think they lost that many. I think the biggest casualties for France in this attack over here was their cav, because I noticed one of their heavy cav did break. It did hit a square pretty fully on. The right cav that they sent in hit a square, but I don't think it did too much damage to the square for them. The square to do damage to it. But the left side definitely. We took out their heavy cav a little bit early on, and that's maybe what saved us. And now Liechtenstein, Hiller pushing across the right side. France getting outflanked here. They're having to fall back so they don't lose this fight on the far left side. Consolidation, artillery setting up.
The men of the king, sir, must rest away.
Oh, we got some cuirassiers charging here. Can they make it to this line infantry? And they break those heavies. But here we go. Now we are counterattacking on this side, breaking the French, pushing across this field, littered with mostly French dead. As to the last of this battle, look at this French pushing forward the reserves here. It's a solid, I think it's a grenadier unit. Both sides trying to match with the other. If only they had one cav unit, that's all it takes. But man, Austria has some vicious firing. The rate of fire these Austrians are putting out is just deadly. Is France going for a melee? They're going for melee against some grenadiers. And here it goes. Liechtenstein trying to hold a general, inspiring the Frenchmen to the feats of bravery. And Austria is getting now hit pretty hard by melee. They have some reserves. Sending in new troops, though, to bolster the lines. It's turning into a medieval 2 battle here. Oh, it's very beautiful, though. I think France just doesn't have enough to be able to funnel more troops into it. We are now attacking here, going for the guns, going for lines. But France is going to commit the rest of their reserves here. Their only hope is to break through Hiller in Liechtenstein. Beautiful, though. And that is that flank turn. We are now charging in melee, breaking artillery.
We have killed their general, sir.
And that should be the battle, guys. That was the battle. A vicious fight. Obviously, at the end, we took it back. But I thought we lost. I really did. When I lost my army, I thought we lost. Hitler proved to be quite a strong army and unbeatable once again. Hitler is one of those rough cores to play against, apparently. Never really played as them, but they are rough to play against. They have some very good stats and some very good, some very large, chunky units. So, the French players, they played well. That initial attack, I'm not sure if they had continued pursuing this attack and ignored this side. Maybe it would have forced Hitler to fall back, and then this French army could have been a little more saved. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think if they had followed up on my mass routing troops and pushed over this side, they would have come in behind us, and there would have been probably not a whole lot we could have done. But you never know. You know, who knows how the battle would have actually ended. It was a good game, though. It was well played on both sides. Both sides fought viciously. It's one line of infantry left. Where is he? Gonna fast forward at this point. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get the losses here. I am hopeful. I reinstalled NTW3, so hopefully it has fixed the results. If not, I will go pull those up real fast, and we can see the results of this fight. So let's see in a second here if it fixes. No, it has not. Well, that's unfortunate. I gotta figure that out. I really gotta. So, all right. Look at the kills I got on my artillery, though. They got 143 kills, the most kills out of everything else. My 5-pounder got 67, so they definitely were up there when it came to kills. These two lines were some that fought in the very end, and the rest, I mean, some of them barely got any kills at all. They broke and didn't do a whole lot of fighting after they broke. So, but anyway, guys, let me pull up the results here real fast. All right, guys, as you can see here, we have Matt Bob as Hitler. He got 1853 on the kills, took 1,057 losses. Noid as he was Liechtenstein, I believe. He got 827 kills. Scottish person as De Este got 1389. I got 763. I know a decent amount of these kills were probably waiting through French troops that were already routing, which is unfortunate. But then we have on the other side, Little Swerve as Russia got 480 kills. He was the smallest army on the field by far, and you can tell he had to go in and counterattack Hitler, and he lost most of his army trying to save the other French army. Now we do have Steely Dan. He played, got 1789 in the losses, 892 kills just in time, got 865 kills, and Grognard got 892. So man, almost 1,000 kills each. Very vicious fight. And I believe Little Smurf was a 6-pointer or 5-pointer. He was a low pointer, so you know, low pointers a little harder to play. I took a lower point so that the French could take higher points. And yeah. Well, anyway, guys, that is the battle. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed playing it and rewatching it. It was an awesome, epic fight. I felt like it was. And props to the other team. They played well. They destroyed me. Anyway, guys, that'll be it for today. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I will catch you all in another video.